Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's check-in. And for those of you who are not R20 subscribers, we want to welcome you as well. Most of you are here from the newsletter that I put out. And for those who are just finding this video on YouTube, I want to welcome you. I wanted to make this video available to all of you to kind of give you an idea of what we do week to week with the R20 system and how we have our weekly check-ins and the different topics that we cover, just to kind of give you an idea of some of the benefits of the R20 system in addition to the awesome workouts. So this week's topic that we're going to discuss was kind of spurred on by a question of one of our R20 subscribers, and we were discussing how to get more vegetables in her diet and the importance of that. She had me looking at her food journal, which is something that I offer my clients if they want some help with accountability and some input. And that's one thing I noticed, which is, not uncommon, myself included. I struggle with that at times. So it led to a conversation and a bunch of different thoughts in my mind that I wanted to discuss, and I hope that I can kind of, I've got a little note here of the different things I wanted to talk about, but I hope that I can kind of cover them all in a way that makes sense. First of all, I want to make the disclaimer and just state up front, I'm a fitness professional with several, high ranking, if you will, prestigious certifications that I've worked hard at, but I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, and I'm a big believer that ethically speaking, it's kind of the domain and territory of a dietitian to give specific nutritional advice or diet plans, say, here, do this. For me, and what I've been taught is that the purview of a personal trainer, a fitness professional, is obviously fitness, and to just give kind of general recommendations and sharing of information, so to speak, of nutritional principles, just general stuff, and to kind of point you in the right direction to find your own answers, or hook you up with somebody who is more certified and credentialed to give you more specific advice. So anyway, that being said, one of the things that we were talking about is that with regards to fruits and vegetables, hopefully we all know this, they have high fiber content, high nutrient content, and both of those things are going to keep you more full. And we're talking more about weight loss here, just to put that out there as well. And hopefully most of you know, when I or most fitness professionals are talking about weight loss, we're talking about fat loss specifically, because there is a difference. But anyway, the importance of fruits and vegetables especially in a good weight loss program on the nutrition side of things, is that they, again, have high nutrient content, which is going to help you feel satisfied because your body is recognizing that you're giving it those vitamins and minerals that it needs. And also the fiber part helps you stay fuller longer. So if you have a diet full of that kind of stuff, you're going to be a lot less tempted, or likely to be tempted to eat things that you shouldn't eat, to overeat total calories, and you're going to feel a lot more satisfied a lot of the time. So that being said, the conversation that I had the other day then led to, well, how come I feel really hungry sometimes after I eat carrots and apples and things like that? And when she said that, I kind of knew that comment or that question was coming next, because I've experienced the same thing. And I mentioned those two specific things, carrots and apples, because that tends to be what happens to me for some reason. I eat them, I love them, they fill me up and they taste great for a little while, and then not very long after I feel hungry again, almost hungrier than I did before. And I don't have a real good answer for why that is. One idea that's come to mind is that, I don't know, the fiber is supposed to keep you full, but maybe in some cases it moves through you, cleans you out, whatever you want to call it, quickly, and then it leaves you feeling hungry again. That's one guess I have. I'm not really sure. But I will say this. Anytime, and this is kind of the main point and focus I wanted to have in today's check-in video, anytime you decide to move from a lower status to a higher state of being, you're going to encounter resistance, and you're going to encounter a struggle that's going to stop you from getting there. And we could talk a whole day about this and some of my thoughts on this and things I've read about this concept of resistance in moving from a lower to a higher state, but it really works that way with fitness and nutrition. And one thing I've noticed is that it's really possible, and those of you who eat really, really well can probably attest to this and identify with what I'm about to say. If you eat really well, meaning healthy choices, you eat frequent meals, smaller meals, you don't eat before bed, and your choices are just on point how they should be, and then suddenly you introduce something of a cheat meal or a really bad meal into that, you just don't feel good. Like, your body rejects it, and it's not used to all of a sudden being introduced to something that it doesn't like, and it's not used to processing. The same works in reverse. If you're used to eating a diet that's high in processed foods, sugars, fatty foods, fast food, that sort of a thing, like a lot of Americans are nowadays, then suddenly try to introduce some healthy stuff in, it's kind of like, wow, just moving from low status to high, and you're just like, this is hard. I feel hungry. I don't feel satisfied. And a lot of that, I kind of feel like your body sees that stuff and it does what it does with it, and it's good for it, but almost from a physical and a psychological standpoint, it says, okay, now what? Give me some more, because it's not used to that. So where I'm going with this is that I feel really strongly that making that switch to a better habit, a better approach to eating especially, takes time, and it takes a lot of mental training, if you will, because say you start to do this new way of eating, a new way of living, and your body starts to reject it, or not reject it, but just doesn't really like it, your mind starts to break down and say, oh well, this is hard, I don't want to sustain this if I don't feel good, and so your mind kind of throws in the towel and taps out a lot sooner than it should. And that's one thing that you kind of have to be aware of that's going to happen, because again, it does take time to recondition your body, whether it's with working out or with nutrition. It does take time to recondition things to the point where you feel like it's comfortable, it's natural, and you feel good doing it. So if you're one of those people who has had a hard time getting those new habits established, understand there's a good reason for that. And if you just stick with it and give it, I don't know, everybody's going to be different, but for me, as an example, I've been trying really hard the last week or so to reestablish for myself some good habits that include a lot more protein and vegetables, especially being on top of eating every 3 hours, keeping a strict watch on that, and not eating 2-3 hours before bed. Those are all things that I've kind of slipped a little bit on in the last couple of months, and so I've been trying to get back to that. And so for me, it's been about a week already. I still, there's still the temptation to go back to the way I was doing things before, but I'm already noticing a change. For example, going back to the carrots and apples example, it doesn't have quite the same effect on me as it did before, where I eat it and then I feel hungry a little while after. That effect is starting to change a little bit. So I guess the point I wanted to leave you with as I wrap this up is that, again, going from a lower state to a higher state will lead to you encountering resistance, no matter what it is, fitness, nutrition, or anything in life, and to just kind of stay the course and give it a chance. This is where there's no substitute for exercising your own self-discipline and willpower, and that doesn't really come from any magical source other than within. And that's just something you have to accept and realize, and just practice that. It does take practice to gain and exercise control over your own appetites, and I say that literally and figuratively. So I know there's a lot more I had to say about this, but this video is pushing 10 minutes already, so we'll cut it off there. And again, if any of you are struggling with moving from that lower to higher state, just understand that there's reasons for it, but if you stick with it, it'll get there and it'll become a lifestyle in time. So I just wanted to leave that with you guys. Again, this is our check-in for the week. For those who are R20 subscribers, your new workout will be in a couple days. Hope you had some chances to get at least one, if not 2 or 3 of your workouts in this week. I know it was a tough one, total body, everything. For those who aren't subscribers, you can subscribe anytime. We have both a monthly and a yearly option, really affordable for what you get. Here's the website on the screen right now if you want to check it out, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Aloha.